What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the live today, a little earlier than usual. But as I mentioned, they got the Yankee game coming up here in a couple hours, so I wanted to make sure I got this done before that. It's the playoffs, so I mean, I gotta do that. I During the regular season, there were times where I conflicted with the game just because I wanted to keep us on a schedule, but there are times when you have to change the rules a little bit. So this is one of them, but definitely pumped up for the playoffs. And thanks to Karis, I see said go Yankees. I've had quite a few people in the comments that I'm not a Yankee fan, but go Yankees. I'm like, oh, that's cool, Very cool. I was born in the Bronx, so I was born into it. It was funny the other day when they had David Cohn in the press box talking about the game, and the famous Yankee pitcher, among other teams, but he was great on the Yankees. Pitched a perfect game in a no hitter. Um, but anyway, David Cohn was saying how because he played in Boston as well, and he was saying how those kids that are from those areas, they're like born into it. It's like a baptism type thing. Like, here's your first Red Sox or Yankees jersey, wear it, and this is your team, kind of an indoctrination of sorts. But yeah, so I thought that was cool. So we got a couple people wanting to point this out here. We got Carolyn Simpson said she made it, and she's in Canada, so very cool. We got quite a few Canadian listeners. As a matter of fact, Carolyn, in my Murder Metal Mayhem travel mug, I've got some Tim Hortons coffee. So that's my coffee of choice lately. But I do change it up. I throw in some Dunkin', and I've even gone to some McDonald's. I like the coffee at McDonald's too. But today it's Tim Hortons with a little dash of raspberry syrup, which is really good. Just a little hint of raspberry with the Tim Hortons. It's on the spot. Also, wanted to welcome a new member here, Ray. Very cool. I'm not sure if she's in here yet, but she became a YouTube member. So thank you for that, Ray. That's awesome. Anybody that's interested in that, I don't like to, like bog it down with this kind of stuff, but I want to give people a chance to get here, especially since this is a new time today that we're doing this. But while we're on the subject, if you're interested, there's a membership on the channel. We got two levels. We got the Horns High Club at $1.99 and the Mayhem Squad at $2.99, which is as low as I can make them. So they have a certain plateau you can't go beneath. So those are priced as I can price them, but I'm going to be giving away some free memberships here today at the first of the month. They should be there. I haven't checked, but usually at the first of the month, they've got the availability for us to give away some memberships. So I'm going to do that here this afternoon with you. But we'll wait till we get a better group in here. I want to make sure we're giving everybody a shot. But I also do want to thank you guys for showing up right on time, like me. So very cool. But we've got some good people here in the live already, which is very cool. I'm trying to turn this. Yeah, there we go. We have got, of course, misleading evidence. She was the first one in here. Very cool. And we got, of course, Donna Lembo. That's our captain of the Mayhem Squad. I didn't mean to demote you there, Donna Lembo, but you are the captain of the Mayhem Squad and the moderator here today, and you're keeping out the riffraff, and that's awesome and very much appreciated. And Donna is also now one of my beta readers, so she's been reading the new book as I'm writing it. So each chapter that gets done, she gets one to check out. My mom's doing that too for me, and doing it a little bit different with this book because it's nonfiction. I'm not using my usual fiction lineup of beta readers. I'm going with some nonfiction, just people that know the story well that wanted to, be part of it. Donna doesn't know as much of the story, obviously, as like my mom does, but she still knows a lot from being here every time I'm on here. So I bring it up and talk about it. So thank you, Donna, for doing that. I'm glad that she just seems to be here with everybody else, just chilling and enjoying the Saturday. Let's see here. I've got Unfiltered with Wendy G. Hi, Pete from South Africa. Hell yeah. I'm covering the Idaho 4Ks. I love your channel. May I tag you in some videos? Yeah, that would be fine. Sure. That would be fine. As long as you're not like ripping on me all the time. I'm thick skinned. I can handle that kind of stuff. But I'm assuming, since you say you love the channel, that you're a supporter of what I'm doing. The reason I bring that up is back when I was playing in the band, I might have brought this story up way back when, but it definitely bears repeating. But back when I first started my band Low 12, we were playing shows at this specific area in the Midwest, and I'll leave it there. And every time we went up there to play, there would be, this guy showing up in our message board back when we had a message board on our website. And he would always, he came on there the first time, and he said that he was at the show and that he had a review of the show on his website. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. And he gave me a link to it and everything. So I checked it out. And he just tore us up, said he thought we were old and irrelevant and that we sucked and all this stuff. He was just like really going on and on and on about it, to the point where it was really funny. I thought it was funny. And then the guy kept doing it, and he kept saying stuff about us. And then he went and had a website done. I'm sure did it himself. He was pretty tech savvy, I think. And he bought the domain low12sucks.com, and then had a website, like a shadow website of ours, with saying how bad we were, and like just all this stupid stuff. And I thought, what an idiot, to spend his time doing this. And he would always sign his messages as J Doggy. That was his Jay Doggy, and that was his little screen name or whatever. So I'm going to spare you some details, because this can get really, really in the weeds and very inappropriate for a PG-13 YouTube version of me. But needless to say, he was reported to the web host that did our site, that also did some really big sites like ESPN, Pepsi. There were some big clients, and they didn't take any kind of threatening emails very lightly. So I think they investigated him. So I'm assuming he got some probably startling emails from whoever they, were investigating him with. And he stopped, never heard from him again. But I'll leave it with this just to show what a jerk this guy was. When I had announced to the fans that I had cancer back in 2001, he went on the message board and said, "Hey, I heard you have cancer, ROFL," which for uh, the older among us, that's rolling on floor laughing. So yeah, so that guy, he ended up in every thanks on every album after that. I would always say, like, thanks to J Doggy's mom for the love and this kind of stuff, and J Doggy's grandma. And I used to just totally, pick on him through that. And then we recorded a song and put a fake intro on there with what I thought his voice sounded like, because I never actually met the guy. But it was a lot of fun. But it was also awful what he was saying. So it was just like he was getting what he deserved. But I see there, Unfiltered with Wendy G, that, yeah, you're saying you're not going to rip on me. And that's, like I said, I didn't think you were. I didn't think you were. But it reminded me of my friend, I put that in air quotes, J Doggy, for, I wonder if he still follows me around. I mean, for all I know, he could be out there watching this and just like grating on his nerves that I'm making fun of him. I kind of hope he is, to be honest with you. Well, good to see everybody here. We got Janice Pritchard in here from the UK. That's awesome. So very cool. And then we got Grammy T here. Good morning, Pete. My first live with you. Very cool. I was kind of hoping when I changed the time up that we would get some people that were new just because of the times. Especially with overseas people overseas, it gives them a chance to watch this where it's not, 2 a.m. or something. So I was hoping to see some new faces, names I hadn't remembered or recalled. But yeah, remember to hit that like button, as Donna correctly points out. Smash the like, whatever you want to call it. We always have small crowds with these open lives, but to be honest with you, I kind of enjoy it this way. Just an informal type format, but certainly if anybody wants to talk about anything going on in any of the cases we talk about here, I would be happy to get into any of that. Like Idaho 4. I don't know what is anything going on in the Idaho 4 that you guys might want to talk about. I know I did a video. The a video that I did here about the Dumb, Dumber, and Dumberest. If you haven't seen that, I was talking about the interviews. I mean, they used to call them interrogations, right? But that was about the furthest thing from an interrogation I think that you could have possibly gotten, because it was like a handheld, nice discussion, interviewing for like a babysitter for the kids. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And I just thought it was worth doing a video, even though I knew that, people had done videos about this kind of stuff quite a bit. I just hadn't weighed in yet. So I thought, why not? It didn't get a ton of views, and that's okay. But yeah, I was sitting here thinking of Dumb and Dumber, and then wanted to add one more to add Hunter on there. So then added Dumberest, but then ask you in the video to choose which is the dumberest of the choices. They weren't the people on the thumbnail. That was the catch. On the thumbnail was Dylan, And it's funny because the picture that I got of her has her like hand out, and then I put Hunter in there, so it looks like she's got her hand on Hunter's shoulder, and Hunter's standing there next to her, and then Bethany is highlighted because it's like an extra kind of ditzy looking Bethany picture that I thought was funny. But but it's not those three. So the choices were number one, all of those people. So, the whole group of them, as, even Jackass, Showalter, Enan Harsh. I mean, just throw all those weird people into a pot. And that choice number one was just they were the dumberest of all. Then the second one was the media. Was the media the dumberest of all for perpetrating this old nonsense and lying to us and every other damn thing? Or was it the us collectively, us, me and you, for watching this crap, for you know, giving them a reason to keep messing with us? I don't know if that's the case. Guess we probably will never really know. But it almost seems like somebody's like ingeniously like doing this to be you know just to fool with us. So I don't know. Now Glenn here's got a comment. Said Bethany struck me as pretty dumb. Uh, so yeah, they collectively were pretty dumb. I agree. I agree. If they were, if, them they're lumped in with number one. So here's the. I haven't done an official tally, but just looking through them, it is definitely a dead heat between the collective group of people involved in this story and the media. Pretty much back and forth on that. But I would like to do an official count and then maybe announce the winner of the dumberest in the Idaho 4 case. So, but yeah, we had a few that said it was us, and I thought that was funny. Like, wait, let's look in the mirror and make sure that we're not the dumberest ones. But I didn't think so either. But I was just having some fun with you. We did that one, and then I had a video that came out that was a pretty significant viewers on that one. The one they did before that on Idaho 4, and I'm trying to remember. It was something about how the story could have ended up, or something. I can't remember the real reason, or one of the reasons why it had to be the way it was. Is I thought that the SA trafficking type stuff was very likely in play here, or could have been in play. We had a misleading evidence, or no, Words Bloom. I think it was Words Bloom. Words Bloom it was Words Bloom. She suggested that maybe the the news about the girls that we heard, that maybe there was something going on there with like OnlyFans and that kind of stuff. But then she said, well, what if that they were involved in some sort of trafficking type situation? Now, maybe not them specifically, but maybe they were facilitating it or somehow bringing in new people. We know that happened with the Dean Coral case in the 70s in Houston, where he had people working for him, bringing in people into the mix. And in the Dean Coral case, Elmer Wayne Hensley and the other one, I can't remember his name offhand, they were getting like a bounty, like 200 back then. It was the mid 70s, but still $250 to get new kids into this whole scheme. It was horrible. So it kind of reminded me of that. And we remember that Yeah, Donna says it was Words Bloom. Thank you, Donna. Um, so I thought that was an interesting thing to pose, and we had a ton of views on that one. So thanks to everybody that watched it. Was definitely a hit. So that's cool. Um, People were definitely interested in that topic, and so was I. But it's always funny. You never know what a video, like when I do a video, sometimes I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good one, and they are. And then sometimes they're kind of flat, and a lot of it has to do with the thumbnails. I remember back when I started the channel, I really paid attention to. I watched video after video of how to make thumbnails like the right way and what to do and tips on making them more effective. And I will admit the videos with the better thumbnails definitely do better. There's just sometimes a thumbnail really pops that I do, and then another one, not so much. But it's nice that with all the tools that are available with these, like Adobe Express, which is what I use for my thumbnails. Um, they've got all these tools on there. I mean, you don't have to be an artist. I mean, you just have to have an eye for it and make it look good, but using the tools that they've got to do that. So I think it's really cool for somebody like me that's not an artist like that. Like I know I'm a writer and that's an art. I get all that, but like an artist, like a painter, draw, I can't do any of that. So here's Glenn saying, I think the Phoenix, I'm not sure what NPO was for a trafficking sideline. Yeah, I mean, that's the route. They're coming up through Mexico, through Arizona, up into Idaho and Washington, and back down, I'm sure. So you had a lot of movement along that corridor. That's why, I think that it's very possible that could have been in play in the Idaho 4, that women were being, and men, trafficked. And then, these big debts, these party favors they were using. These guys were rich kids, but, some rich kids have some boundaries set by the parents, not all of them, but some where they have to, they give them a certain amount of money, but it's not like if they get into this big habit, they're going to be funding that, without them, being sly and not telling them. But it would be obvious if it's really racking up some debt. So a lot of them may get sucked into it that way, as they're just forced into a corner, which is unfortunately, all too common. I mean, this Sheriff Stines case down in Kentucky, in Letcher County, Kentucky, which is in the southeastern part of Kentucky, a very rural area. I lived in Kentucky for a short time. When I was in the Army, I was at Fort Knox, but that was much closer to civilization. It was near Louisville and not too far from another city too. I can't remember it now, but this is much different. And so that case is interesting, but another situation where you've got women being, tricked into or coerced into, I should say, situations where they have to do this or they're going to come take their kids away. They're holding that kind of stuff over their heads. I mean, that's tough. I mean, most women or mothers in that situation, as horrible as that would be, would rather be involved in some sort of SA trafficking situation than somebody, um, you know, uh, forcing them or taking their kids away. I mean, that's just any mother. That's just instinct. So I think that it's crazy, but this is very common, and that's what I thought when Words Bloom said, well, if it's going on in Kentucky, why wouldn't it be going on in Idaho? And that's certainly what I was talking about in the video. So if you missed any of that, go check that out. I haven't been putting out quite as much content here lately, but I'm trying to get back into at least doing some of it. I would like to do a couple long form videos. I've been talking about it for a while now, but the West Memphis 3 case has always fascinated me. And I thought it would be cool to do a West Memphis 3 long form video, but not about so much about just the case, but the case's influence in true crime since it happened in the late 80s, and all of that satanic panic stuff, and is it still alive and well, and all that kind of angle to it. It's just something that's interested me. And if you're not familiar with the West Memphis 3, that would be a good deep dive for you to do. And I always mention, if I'm ever going to tell anybody about the case, if you're not real familiar with it or it's been a while, you could check it out here on YouTube. You got to pay like $1 or $2 for it, but it's so worth it. It's called West of Memphis, and it's a documentary about it. It's done by Peter Jackson, the Lord of the Rings director, and he's got an all-star cast of people on the video, and it's really cool. It tells the story very well from beginning to end, and as much of an end as it had at the time. But really a fascinating story. So if you're not familiar with that documentary about the West Memphis 3, it's a good one to watch, really. We did a Murder Metal Mayhem, excuse me. We did a Murder Metal Mayhem podcast about the West Memphis 3. I don't know which number it was, but if you search Murder Metal Mayhem West Memphis 3, you'll probably find it. And you can listen to it if you want. But yeah, here's Voice of Astrology says it goes on everywhere. So yeah, that's a good point. Karis correctly points out that, if this is going on in a couple different counties randomly in the U.S., then obviously it's going on all over the damn place. I mean, what would be the odds of the couple of cases where it's going on, we would know about it? You know what I mean? It's obvious that there's much more there than meets the eye. And I think that, it's very possible that this could be rampant. And if it is, that is just absolutely terrible. But like in the Mickey Stines case, you've got, and if you're not familiar with that one, that's a really fascinating case. I'm getting ready to do another video on that because there have been a few things going on. I know that Lee at Devil's Advocates has been doing some stuff about Mickey Stines, and he and I have talked about that case and said that we wanted to do something about it, and wanted to both cover it so that we could do lives together to discuss. And I know we haven't done a live these last 2 Thursdays, but we've just basically decided to continue to do the lives together, but just less frequently and just as schedules open up, because he's got a lot going on. Um, but yeah, the Mickey Stines case is really insane. Um, with everything, with this, parties in the judge's chambers with women from the jail, and they were doing it in exchange for a free ankle monitor so they could get out of jail, but they didn't have the money to pay for it because it was like 80 something bucks a week. And most of these women were poor and destitute or didn't work at all, had no means of supporting themselves. They were totally, addicted to whatever it was they were addicted to. And these people there were taking advantage. The one jailer who was a deputy with the county, the deputy sheriff, he went down. They got him, and they indicted him, and I think that his trial's coming up. But they got him. I mean, he's. I think he was on where they wore a wire on him. I mean, they definitely got their evidence against this guy, and they've got him on video. Um, that's the reason the video is actually in the judge's chambers now, is because of that guy's case, because that's where he was bringing a lot of these women. And he was also, as there were other jailers apparently, taking women home from the jail, like at night, just like renting a library book, bringing a woman home and then using her and then bringing her back the next day. And they were doing that kind of stuff in exchange for like the simplest things, like a couple of Pop-Tarts at the commissary kind of stuff, like really disturbing. Like, man, you would devalue your own self-worth with something just nasty like that for a Pop-Tart. I mean, that's so horrible to think of anybody being in that situation. Yeah. So Karis is right. It goes on everywhere, and it's terrible. Let's see. Let me real quick here. Sassy says, "Good morning, Pete. Hello from across the pond." So very good. Good to see you in here with us. Misleading Evidence says she loves the shirt. This is from, I believe it's the first movie poster for The Exorcist. And I was looking on TeePublic, as I frequently do now that we're on there. I'm really looking at stuff. And I searched for The Exorcist, and there's tons of them. But this one popped because I saw that title at the top where it says, "What an excellent day for an exorcism." And that's what I remembered seeing on that movie poster that I thought was cool. So I grabbed the shirt. But TeePublic, I mean, killing it with the great shirts. Really good quality, fits really well. Really, really love that website there. So thanks, Misleading Evidence, for that. Appreciate it. And speaking of TeePublic, let me throw up that banner. We got the new store there at TeePublic where you can go and check out, our merch if that's your thing. I've got some new designs up there that people really liking. I'll share the screen with you. Let me get that down there. But yeah, if you go to TeePublic and just search Murder Metal Mayhem, you'll find it, or you can go directly there with that. And then I'm going to share this with you. So there's the page. And this is the new one, the Serial Killer Story Hour graphic I did. It's on sale right now for only $16, but you can see the lights. I had the AI do the lights, spotlights on it, and I think it looks really cool. It's really unique. So you see that subtle, you can see the lights there. I think it looks really cool. And then I just said to make it like a circus kind of feel, like an old time circus sign, and it nailed it. And then I threw in a little blood spatter. I can't get away without a little bit of it, but I thought it was kind of fitting. So, but yeah, you can get it as a T-shirt like that. You can get it in any color you want. They've got, I mean, you could even do tie-dye if you wanted to. Let's see what it looks like tie-dye. You could tie-dye it if you want. You could do it in whatever color you want. They've got a bunch of different colors. You can do it in white. You could do it in slate. You could go crazy with it. Asphalt is a cool color they've got. Then you got all these different options: male fit, female fit, different types of shirts, V-necks, the heavier shirts, the thinner shirts, sizes small through 5X. I mean, it's like ridiculously cool. And if you keep scrolling down, then there's options for it in other ways. Like here's a hoodie, shorts, tank top, a hat, the sticker. I really like the mug. I really like the way the mug looks. I'm waiting for it to come out in one of the tumblers because that's what I want. That's what I like to use here with my Murder Metal Mayhem one. But I don't know if they're out of them or what the deal is. I need to ask them because there's a lot of cool things they could do. But for some reason, I don't see that as an option anywhere, not just with my stuff, but anywhere. So anyway, so Sassy says art designs you've been creating and sharing are super cool, Pete. Well, thank you very much for that. I've been having some fun because, like I said, I'm not an artist, so this AI stuff with the artwork for somebody like me is really cool because I can tell it what I want it to do, and it does it. Now, it's not always perfect, and sometimes I got to tweak it or trick it. In my Destiny artwork, it's kind of funny. I should have showed you that. The shirt that I've got with the Destiny on it, I had to trick it. Let's go back to that real quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if I got rid of it. I shouldn't have. Oh, yeah. No, I'm okay. So, go back to the. Here's the front page. This is a serial killer story album one that I did that I thought was fun with some color. I used AI to create me at the table with the kids with the hands up in the air with the salute, and then what I wanted it to say on the chalkboard. And then I went in and put the border on there separately through Adobe, and it turned out really good. A popsicle stick frame, and I thought it was cool. Sold some of those. People digging on that, so that's cool. And then this one's great. I finally got my shirt, which is just awesome. But in the AI that I used for this, it didn't let me put any blood on the images. So with this one, when it said that, I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute. I said, can you have some red paint dripping off the hatchet and the knife? And so there you go. So I was able to trick it into making it. And so yeah, this shirt, I've sold some of these. Again, you could do it in any color you want, which I think is really cool. I mean, I like black shirts, but not everybody does. So, have at it with that. You could try all these different options, and like I said, you catch it on a sale, and they're pretty reasonable. The stickers turned out really good too, I think. All of it, the hat, the shorts. I mean, there's all kinds of cool stuff you could get with it if you like that image. This one got sold some of these people liking on this one. The Meanwhile in Idaho with the dumpster of evidence sitting there. That one looks really good. I got a shirt for myself for that. So I got one for me and a sticker, and the sticker looks amazing. But yeah, it's kind of endless, And I've got other Idaho 4 inspired ones here, and then of course I've got the classic logo, barbed wire logo, the I need my 666 fix logo. Then the Mayhem Squad and the Horns High Club can get their own shirts if they want. And then I got some goofy ones here for just personal stuff I've been fooling with. The Puppuccino shirt for my dog Pee Wee. Just because he thinks he's cool, so I thought he needed a shirt. And so having some fun with it. Having some fun with it because I've got unlimited designs I can do with that. All right, so let's give away some of these memberships. Let me try this. Okay, I don't need that echo there. All right, membership gifting. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do 5 of these. The computer randomly assigns them to people. So I'm not picking out who wins. It's just randomly done. So here it goes. And congrats to all of the winners that got some free memberships, which is cool. Oh, okay. So this one I get to see who gets it. Okay. All right. Very cool. Well, if you got a free membership, welcome to the membership. We appreciate that very much here at Murder Battle Mayhem. Um, yeah, great for Halloween gifts, as Voice of Astrology points out. Um, that would have been that would definitely be a good holiday gift for Halloween. And then somebody else here wanted to say, Sassy says she loves the Destiny shirt. So yeah, I'm definitely partial to it. Um, I think they look great. I mean, the image is like the whole shirt. I mean, it's a big image. It's not like a cheap small one. It's like the full shirt is that. They turned out great. And the 2 winners that won the Destiny shirts, the ones that they sent me where they were printed on the back instead of the front, instead of just pitching them, I thought I'd give them out as prizes because I like them on the front. So they had to fix mine, and that's the beauty of T Public is they'll just fix it no charge, no matter what the reason was why you don't like the shirt. And mine was because the first time it was on me, I had for whatever reason back printed as the option, and so the first time it was on me, but I caught it right away, and I emailed them and said, "Hey, that's wrong. It should be front." And it got in the system too fast. I mean, that's how quick these guys are. It got in that fast that it was like I couldn't stop it. I'm not sure how they do what they do, but the quality and the quick. I mean, man, you get them in a week or less. It's crazy. And they package them well and everything, so they're really good at that. So, welcome to all the new members. That's awesome. Very cool to see some people see some people winning some free stuff. And but anything else on the Idaho 4 that you guys wanted to talk about? Like I said, Sheriff Stines is an interesting case. I mean, what would drive a sheriff to go into the judge's chambers with a GUN and start boom, 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 right on closed circuit camera? I mean, he knew the cameras were in there. Um, Now he had just been deposed. So here's the deal. I think it was the criminal case with that guard or the bailiff. That has already been, he's guilty, but now it's the civil trial. I'm pretty sure that's what the trial is that's pending. Now that I think more on that, the civil trial is pending, and the sheriff Stines had to give a deposition, and it's because he was this guy's supervisor. So I'm sure they're asking him, like, well, how was he getting away with this? Like, how was he supervised? And so maybe it was the pressure of all that. Some people are speculating that maybe, I think this was what Lee was saying last night. I watched his live, or some of his live, that he talked about this case. And he was saying how he, in his opinion, it could have been uh, potentially that somebody was putting pressure on him, to not drop the dime on too many other people, because apparently there were people throughout the county government that had been involved in this, like cops, government officials. I mean, really nasty stuff. They're claiming that these parties with these girls, and then um, going into the chambers with the judge and everything else. I mean, really sleazy stuff. And so maybe that was what drove him to do that, in his mind. Um, and why he would do, what he did, so extreme on camera like that, knowing that there was no way he was going to say he didn't do it. Um, had to be something extreme, like maybe somebody threatened his family. Most fathers, when they threaten kids and the spouse, I mean, they get pretty amped up, and for rightfully so. I know that I would have done a lot to protect my kids. That's for damn sure. So interesting things that are going on there. Here we got Voice of Astrology says, anybody know what happened to Cy Ray that was going to prove his technology test that Brian wasn't near King Road that night? I have not heard anything about Cy Ray. That's a great point, Karis. I think I saw you posted this somewhere else, because I remember thinking that would be a good one to talk about today. I think that I would like to see that. Um, I mean, why not? I mean, if he did the work and his claims are right, then why not show it? Why not put the spotlight on this debacle that was a trial, or not a trial, a plea deal, and not put spotlights on it and say something is seriously wrong here? Seriously wrong here, to let something like this go on with this guy that, for all accounts, didn't do it. Certainly not by himself. Let's just put it that way. Certainly not by himself. So yeah, Donna and Voice of Astrology both saying, was he silenced? And then Sassy brings up a good point. He may still be under a gag order, or maybe defense are all quiet because there's still more to come. That's definitely possible. I just have this dream, so to speak, like a daydream, where wouldn't it be nice to get like a news flash that there's been this revelation in the Koberger case, and they show like multiple cameras of from different locations all over the US, and they're showing people getting arrested. And we got like Dylan getting arrested there in Boise, and then you got Bethany getting arrested there in Reno, or wherever the hell she is, Nevada, and all these different people, people being sent back from other countries where they've been hiding, like Spain, as we've heard some of the frat boys were hiding out in Spain. I just think, like, how crazy would that be to just see mass arrests because they finally blew the lid off this case and figured out what it was. I know that will never happen, but it's just one of those things. As a follower of it for so long, it would be so nice to be vindicated and prove that there was a lot going on here and not just what they were feeding us. It just would be amazing. So Voice of Astrology says, "From your mouth to God's ears." Yeah, that would be an epic way to end it. If I was writing the ending to it, that's how I would end it. That's how I would end it. I would go for scorched earth. I love the scorched earth endings. To me, those are the most satisfying. It's just like complete annihilation. I would go one after the other, maybe even have one of them off themselves over it all. I know that sounds terrible, but it is what it is. I mean, there's got to be some kind of punishment for putting a person through what they put Koberger through if he really was innocent. What a horrible thing, you know. Here you are going through your PhD program, something you've been dreaming about for years, and you're doing this thing, and you're far away from home, and you're trying to overcome some things that you struggle with because of your autism disorder, and then to have something like that. If he was the patsy here, to have something like that thrown on your head by people that know you can't defend it, that's just the shittiest thing ever. So I don't know if that happened. I'm just saying, if it did, that would be the shittiest thing ever. Carolyn says, at the very least, a fail to report charge should have been laid. Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think I read somewhere where in Idaho you can be fined, I think it's $1,000 and then serve up to a year. Make them both serve the year. I mean, screw them. I mean, they could sit in that Latah County jail for a year if that at a damn minimum. I mean, come on. They should both be scooped up and thrown in there and see what it does to your social life and your personal life, to be sequestered away and in a jail like that, It's terrible. And I know we had A.R. Hayes on here talking about that, he had been in that jail before, and that the cell where Koberger would have been was in the basement. So it's like extremely secluded, So he's in a different level in the basement of this small town, county jail. And so, I mean, you're just completely plucked away from your life. And I don't know. That would just be terrible if it's falsely done. That would just be absolutely terrible. And then there you go, Donna. And then instead, Dylan Mortensen gets 100 grand plus on a GoFundMe. Yeah. I mean, that just doesn't seem right. That does not seem right at all. So definitely crazy. Um, any other stuff you guys wanted to chat about here, whether it be true crime, whether it be music or movies or anything? I'm open to suggestions. We're just coming up on an hour. So we've been talking about true crime related stuff for about an hour. But if anybody wants to talk about anything or ask me, about my writing stuff, the things that I write about, or any of that kind of thing, um, be happy to get into that with you. Or if you want to talk about a solved case, I know this last week we did the Joanne Dennehy story on the Serial Killer Story Hour, which was brutal. I've got a banner for that one too. Let me get that one going here. New show on Murder Metal Mayhem, Serial Killer Story Hour, live with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. So that's a show we've been doing. So whether you watch it live or watch it on the replay, appreciate those that have been watching it. It's done pretty decent. I knew it was going to be a smaller crowd. I mean, again, anything other than Idaho 4 that I've ever done has been very small, and that's okay, whatever. But next week on Tuesday, we're going to feature Joe Nasso. This is a good case. Talk about creepy with this dude. California serial killer that kept a coded list So what happened was he was on like probation for some silly like burglar, some theft charge. I don't remember exactly what he was uh, on parole or probation for, but it was something silly. And the county just did like a routine just check on him and showed up, and I guess they went into the house and he wasn't home, but there was some reason why they were able to go into the house. And he had like, it was like a hoarder type situation, but he had like all this like really weird stuff, and like in his garage he had all these mannequins tied up and like suspended from the ceiling and like up on the wall, and all sorts of weird, he had him dressed up in like lingerie, and it was just really bizarre. And there were a certain number of them. I think there were 10. And then there was a list by his chair where he sat with a list of 10. And it was coded messages that had to do with women, like girl on the train in Saskatoon or whatever, like that kind of stuff. And so they were able to pinpoint missing women or unidentified remains found that tied in with these, and they were able to figure out he did like 4 or 5 of them. They were murders, and he kept a list. And right there by his chair where he sat is an old man, so he had been like reflecting on this like every day forever. It was really creepy. And so they brought him in and they indicted him. He's in prison for the 4 or 5 that they got him on, but there's more on the list they're trying to figure out. And there's a docu-series out that I was watching that was going through. They figured out more on the list. So it's an interesting case, Joe Nasso. So a photographer, another Harvey Glattman here with the photography. The classic way to get women to, let down their guard is to tell them they're beautiful and tell them you want to make them a star, and let me take some pictures of you. You'll surely get somebody's going to find you. And they fall for it, and they let them take pictures, and then one thing leads to another, and they're handcuffed to a bed rail, and that's it. So pretty nasty stuff. But that's the next serial killer story hour, if that's something you like. And if you liked that kind of topic, there's ones that are on the live tab that you can watch. I think this is the 9th one, if I'm not mistaken, the 9th one that I'm doing on Tuesday. So let's see if anybody else has any. Okay, misleading evidence that he was on probation for stealing women's underwear. That would make sense. That would make sense with Nasso. That was definitely his thing. Carolyn asked how the studio is coming along. Well, the studio is fine. The studio needs a little cleaning session, but, excuse me, I can get in and out of the studio. And thankfully, my friend Juan and the guys that he plays with in the band Blessed with Pain came over and put the ramp in for me. The problem is the heat. That garage gets really hot. There is an old air conditioner in the window that works. I don't know how it does because it looks like hell, but it still works, but it takes a while to cool it down. So I'd have to go out there a couple different times to cool it down and then to go out there and record. And my wife, rightfully so, she wants to be here when I go out there so that in case something was to happen, she can get me taken care of, if I fell and hit my head or something like that. So, don't want to think of stuff like that happening. But since I'm in the wheelchair and I'd have to go out there with my scooter, there's just some safety concerns. So once the weather is like fall, like, my plan is to go out there and start recording some maybe not every time, but start to get used to recording out there again. And then eventually I want to be recording out there like I was. But until then, I've been here in my dining room, which is always a mess because we got this brand new bathroom here, but our closet storage was taken out. So trying to slowly get things put away. And I got my Murder Metal Mayhem merch there. You see the hat behind me on this side, and then over here got the tote bag and the hoodie. So we got a couple different things. I've been buying our merch too, just to be able to see how the how the merch quality is, because the last thing I want to do is send you somewhere where the quality is not good, and you're spending good money on merchandise and it's not any good. So I don't want to do that to you. So, but if you haven't done so already, hit that like button. And if you're not a subscriber, I am like 30 away from 15,000 subs. 30 away. So if you're not a subscriber and you're hearing this or watching this, please take a second and subscribe, because then this way you'll be able to help me get to 15,000, which would be a cool plateau there, another milestone on my way to 20, on my way to 20. So, Witchy says, thanks for the gifted membership. So you're welcome, Witchy. Did 5 of those a little bit ago. I saw you were one of them. So very, very cool. Let's see. How long does it take you to do your revamp funny ass comedic intro recordings? That's a hell of a question there, Sassy. Well, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret on how I do those recordings. I've been talking about the blunt force band, the blunt force band. It's not real. I've been using AI to create the music intros for the intros. Now, if you're talking about the ones where it's me talking with other people, those are different. But the newer ones I've been doing with the music that's catered to Murder Metal Mayhem, I've been using AI. It's unbelievable what you can do. But I write the lyrics and the AI writes the music around my suggestions of how to do it and my words to describe what I want the song to sound like and what it's for, and a lot of different questions it asks. And then it gives you options, like, here's 2 versions of what you just gave me. What do you think? And like, I like it, but this one, this, that. You go back and forth with it till you find what you like. That very intro that I did on my recorded videos, the last video I just did with a new song on it, I did that same song with the lyrics in like 4 or 5 genres. So there's a disco version, there's a Latino music version, there's a reggae version, which turned out really good. There's like a 70s, like funk themed version. And from beginning to end, honestly, it takes me about 15 minutes to create one of those songs. But then once the song is done, now I've got to make like a little video for it to use as an intro. So I use Vegas Pro. I think I got version 21, um, Vegas Pro, and then I assemble the video with the graphics and what you see in the video. Those take a little while. Video is always kind of time consuming. The one I just did, I think, took me maybe an hour, maybe, and that's like not rushing through it, watching it several times, playing with stuff. But now that I've got it set up, any of those musical versions I could just slap in there. And that's what I plan to do over the next several recorded videos, is use different versions of that song in the different genres, just to see who's paying attention. That the lyrics are the same, but here Jethro Troll says the intro where I'm the 666th customer is funny or is hilarious. Thank you. Those are different. Now, those are done like a little more old school. Like that one in particular, I did with my home health care worker that was here. I was working on this intro and I needed a female voice, which my wife was going to do when she got home. But just out of curiosity to see what it would sound like, I asked this girl, I said, "Hey, have you ever been on YouTube before?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Well, hey, why don't you try this, you know?" And I had the script written for the 911 operator and and that 666, all of them, they're all written with scripts. And I said, just read this, but read it real dry, like you don't care. Because, you know, whenever you listen to 911 operators, that's what they sound like because they're getting the information. So she did it. She nailed it. You know, she nailed it. Sounded very apathetic, you know, answering the phone. And it worked. And so yeah, that was for the 911 call. And then the 666 customer, that one, yeah, it was same thing. I think the same person did that with me. And then my friend Mike, that's really a funny guy. He's the one that played the cop on the cop intros where I get pulled over for, you know, DWI, and the cop is, you know, giving me all these questions, and then I blow a 666, and he's like freaking out and all that. Those are done where I script it out, and then with him, we've worked together a lot over the years. He's done different voices for me before. He's done like a TV reporter. He's done all kinds of stuff when I was in Low 12. He got a really good voice. But so I'll give him the latitude to kind of do his own thing, come up with lines off the cuff. He does really well that way. So some people are good that way, some people are not. He's good. So I just show him, here's what I want you to kind of get across, but let's just kind of riff on this. And with the two cop ones that we did together, those were done live together. A lot of times these are done live but separate. So I'll do one person's voice and then the other one's voice recorded completely separately, but then I edit them together where it sounds like they're having a conversation. And the object of the game is so you don't know that. Okay, so I'm letting back the secrets there and pulling back the curtain to let you see Oz, um, so you know that that's how I do it. That's how we did him in on the Murder Metal Mayhem podcast with all the fake commercials and stuff we did. But yeah, Mike's got a great voice for those cop ones. He's got that authoritative voice, deep voice, and he's the co-owner of the Painted Wraith, which I've talked about before. A great oddity shop in Bloomington, Illinois. If you're not or if you're into that kind of stuff, they do have a website. I think it's just paintedwraith.com. But go check that out if you like oddities, like weird stuff. They've also got a lot of like astrology things and witchcraft, candles, all kinds of stuff like that. He sells my books there, not all of them because they've got a very small store. So he's got like two or three of them there, among others, other authors and stuff. Most of the people that sell through his or at the store are local artists, so they support local artists as much as they can. So you're not going to find like a T-shirt there. You'd find like it, you know, at the mall, let's say, or you know, on maybe on T Public. You're going to find something that's uniquely made from that area, which is cool. I think really cool. So yeah, so he and I have done a couple. Those are fun. I'm going to do one with it. I want to experiment with an AI voice and me doing a back and forth and see how realistic it sounds. That might be funny. I just like doing different things, and the fact that I can do whatever I want with AI makes it really cool. So if I want to do a song about a particular topic related to what we're talking about, and it takes me 10 minutes to do it, I mean, Why not? Why not do it? Because it's just fun, and it's easy to do, and I pay a nominal charge to do it, every a monthly subscription, but it's nothing. And then I don't get copyright dings on YouTube, because if I try to use any music from YouTube, from established artists, I mean, I always thought that if it was under 30 seconds, you were fine, but that's not the case. With YouTube, you could pick a song or two for just like 10 seconds and it'll flag it and you can't monetize it. Now, most of these wouldn't even be, I don't even get any money from doing these lives like this that are, even the big lives that I've done for 1,000 or 1,500 people. I mean, you're lucky to get $30 out of it, with the ad revenue, and then people donating with super chats and stuff. That's very irregular and not a common thing for me to get those. So it's certainly not any kind of money incentive there. It's just because I like doing this and like talking about it. So got Rocky Mountain High, or Rocky Mountain High. Nice. Okay, I got it now. Rocky Mountain High. Very good. Hello. What's up? Yeah, the AI stuff is pretty cool. I think if it's done properly, I think it's cool. To generate ideas, I mean, I'm telling you, I have written songs in like six different genres that could legitimately be on the radio. Legitimately be on the radio. And so I'm considering making an account on like Spotify and just throwing them on there. I mean, who knows? I mean, hell, if somebody like Ford or Chevy or some big corporation bought the rights to use one of those songs in a commercial, I mean, holy shit, you're talking about a lot of money. So I might throw them on there. So if you see anything from Italian Ice, that's my persona for songwriting here. So Italian Ice is me. That's where you see that shirt there on the web store there, the Italian Ice shirt. I created it with AI, and that's my logo, and I got it on a shirt just as a goof with my wife and I. She came home one day and I had the Italian Ice shirt on. She's like, "Oh my god!" And then I got her the Puppuccino shirt, so she got to see the dog there, Pee Wee, all dressed up in a hat and boots and everything, walking down the street as Puppuccino. And he's even got a song. I wrote a song about Puppuccino. So I'm thinking about making a video of just the songs I've done, just one after the other, just to let you hear them in their entirety. Because the ones you hear, you just hear shortened versions of them. So why not? Throw them on there as just a what the hell. But it's funny because I don't normally, I'm not able to write songs anymore because I'm not playing in the band. Plus, I'm a bass player. I don't play all the other instruments, and I scream, not sing. So, I can't do some of those songs that you've heard on there before, but the AI can do it, and they turn out really good. And it's scary at the same time. It's kind of cool. And I know people can use AI for writing too. I don't, but you could. Um, and people do. And there's been college kids getting busted using it, for papers and stuff. So, it's a thing. And do I like that? No. But I know that I feel strongly enough about my writing ability that I don't think AI could write what I write the way I write it. So bring it. If you want AI to go up against authors that are hacks like James Patterson and some of those, then I'm all for it. I'm not a fan of his at all, but and that was before this Idaho 4 nonsense that he did. But a real writer, I don't think so. Same with the real artist, same with any of that stuff. It's just there's that intangible thing, that makes it real. And I think it comes awfully close though. And it'll only get better. It'll only get better. I mean, think about it. This is pretty much in its infancy and it's that good. So says I should release some albums. Well, I have released quite a few albums. Low 12, my band here in the Midwest, we're done. We called it quits in 2016. We started in 98 and we put out 6 albums and 2 DVDs. You could find them on eBay and stuff, I'm sure. So there's those albums. Plus, I was in Sacred Oath back in the 80s. That's a progressive metal band from Connecticut. I recorded multiple albums with them. I've recorded greatest hits with them, modern stuff as well as the older stuff. They've got a real bass player that plays with them, but they've brought me in for some things. So, yeah, I've got probably 10 different albums available out there with music. As for recordings like this, I do have on the Murder Metal Mayhem website, murdermetalmayhem.com, you can buy the, was it hysterical, dumb and stupid or something like that. The CD we put out with all the fake commercials we did on Murder Metal Mayhem. There's like 40 something commercials on there. They're all goofy and in real bad taste. The language is bad. So if that's not your thing, I would not just go exploring that. But yeah, you can go on the website and get a digital download of that if you want that. murdermetalmayhem.com. So I've got some stuff out there. So Jethro Troll says it's hard to imagine AI coming up with your unique way of thinking. Well, that's just it. They don't have to. They use my way of thinking to create what I wanted to create. Okay, so for example, if I'm writing a story of a character and I want to see what AI comes up with for what that person would look like in real life, all I have to do is copy and paste my description of that individual in a book or a story or whatever, and then it creates it. And they do a pretty damn good job of it. So for a writer, it's kind of handy to have that visual of what the person looks like. Or if, let's say, I'm working on a story, which I do have a series called Deeper Than Dead that involves non-human characters. For those stories especially, I would like to have a visual of what this thing looks like so I can describe it to the viewer better, or reader. So those are things that are really, really helpful. But the fact that I'm a writer and could describe things makes it that much better. So the AI is only as good as what you put into it. So if you put into it, I want a woman to walk into a room with a chainsaw and then turn it on, okay, then the AI is going to take a lot of stuff into consideration. What color hair she got? Is she older, younger? What's she wearing? What does the room look like? You could take a writer and describe exactly what she looks like. Her face is, she's mad, she's, screaming, or she's laughing, or she's whatever. And the room is, in complete disarray. And she comes in there just, going like this. And you could really describe it to where the AI just totally nails it, and it looks very real. But if you're giving it very generic descriptions, then it's not going to look as real. So it's as real as what you can put into it. So that's why for a writer, it's really cool, especially a writer that has no artistic abilities when it comes to drawing, painting, anything like that. So I can't do that stuff. So if I want a book cover and I want it to look like the ground is all scorched and cracked and little scrub trees are coming up, but not barely, it's all burned up looking, and the sun's out there, but it's got like this weird like hue, and it looks like a desert, like scorching heat type situation. Boy, the AI can nail that, to where I don't know how an artist would even do it better than that. But again, I'm not an artist. So an artist would probably look at it and go, oh, I could definitely tell it's not real. But for somebody like me, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is pretty damn good. I might use this. But I'm not going to do that for the new one at Death's Door that I'm doing about my story, my medical story here in the last year and a half. That one I'm using my friend Mike, the cop on the intro videos. He's a really good painter, and he's painting me a cover. And then we're going to scan it in and then put the text over it, and that's going to be the book cover. So that'll be really cool. So, but yeah, there's that. And then yeah, Sassy saying she hasn't checked out the websites. That's okay. I've got the murdermetalmayhem.com. And then there's this one here for my writing. I've got free samples on there. If you want to read some free samples, you can go on petealtieri.com and click on free samples, and there's a sample of each book. So for the short story collections, which there's 4 of those, there's a short story in each one that I have up there for free. You could read the whole thing. And then for the novels, which there's 2 of those on there, I've got the first chapter of each available that you can read in full on there. So if you want to see, is this something I would like or not like, read something, read it for free, see if you like it, and then if you do, then you can decide whether or not you want to buy it. Any of the books you buy from my website, they come signed by me with a poster and a bookmark. So, and the bookmarks are, if I've got them available now, I think I'm missing one book. I've sold out of the bookmarks. I have a bookmark that ties in with each of the books. But if you get one that it's sold out, I might have to give you a different one. But still, it's got some cool art on it. And then the 11 by 17 posters are full color, and they're the covers, but a big version of the cover as a poster. So you get that with your book. If you buy it on Amazon, then it doesn't come that way. And I signed the book too and the poster. But if you get it on Amazon, there's no poster or bookmark, and I don't sign it because I don't see it. It goes from Amazon directly to you. Um, so, however you get it, I appreciate it. If you get it on Amazon, I don't get very much out of it. If you like audio books, I do have 2 of my books on Audible that you could download there if you want. I also have the newest one, Creation to Chaos 4, available on my website. You can do a download of it there. So there's a couple options for audio if you want to hear me read the stories. That's where that is. And I do plan on doing, as much as I don't like doing it, I will do it, a version of at Death's Door of me reading it, which would be cool. So I will do that for you. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Well, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do. So you can, however you watch, I appreciate if you're on the replay. Appreciate that too. So if you're on the replay, drop a comment below and let everybody know what you thought about the video. And if you're watching this live, you want to give it a like and a subscribe. And you guys have been in the chat. All that stuff helps the video get out there to more people. So that's always good. But yeah, so my next live will be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. And that's the Serial Killer Story Hour. So you'll see me then. And if anything else comes up in the meantime, I'll let you know. And watch out for some new videos. Like I said, I want to do another one on Sheriff Stines. I'll do them as things come up that interest me. So if you've got any suggestions, you're always fine for sending them over my way. Oops, did you say you use it through Adobe? Adobe is what I use for my graphics, like my thumbnails and stuff. Not for selling books or anything. They don't do that. All right. Well, very good. Well, I appreciate you guys very much, as always. If you're a baseball fan, it's a great time to be a baseball fan. Good luck to your team. Unless they're playing my New York Yankees. I can't say anything nice about you then, but I will shake your hand when it's over. We'll see how they play against the Toronto Blue Jays in this series. So go Yankees, and good to see you guys again. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I've heard it all before. It's just the outro and I'm out of here. If you did, you wouldn't be loving this sick, weird groove. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment to help us get out to more. Smash that like and subscribe before you go. You must be some high achiever to watch this whole thing. Copyright 2025 by Horns Hot Productions.